Hello, everybody. Hi, it's Lisa here. It's time to have a beautiful, wonderful, inspirational discussion again on Tantra, on the impact of Tantric spirituality and Tantric teachings. And today, here with me is sweet Leila from the UK, from London. Hi, Leila.
Hi. So
And
lovely to
we
see
we are going to talk with Leila. We're just gonna have like a free chat. And the reason why I invited Leila today was to discuss with her and actually also just be even personally inspired, I would say, of the transformation that she has had during the last 1.5 years since she started being a student in a school and now being a teacher in training. So we're going to talk about the physical transformation that she has had, the emotional changes and transformation that she has had, and even a financial transformation. So stay tuned for that, and that is what we are going to talk about.
in
Yeah.
the space of time that it's been. I just like I had a one of these little photo reminders. Oh, it's been 2 years since this, and an old picture of myself. And looking back, only like 2 years ago, I was crying. I was like, I cannot believe how far it's been, how far I've come, how different my life, how much more empowered I am in so many ways. And it was just, yeah. So I thought it'd be good to have a chat with you and just kind of go over like this amazing.
Yeah, to do like a conclusion of the last 1.5 to 2 years since
Yes,
you've been on the path of tantric spirituality as well. But
yes.
before we go into that, maybe give a little bit of an overview of your background, where you are from, where did you grow
Ooh.
up, and so on. What did you do until 2 years ago, or what?
Okay. Yeah. So just to put things into context. So
Exactly.
I grew up in London, England. I was like mixed religious household. So on my mother's side, we were kind of Christian, and on my father's side, we were Muslim. And so, I kind of came to the conclusion quite early that we're talking about the same ultimate consciousness from either camp, 'cause I had this split between do I choose my mother's God or my father's God, or what the situation's like. No, they're kind of like the same person in different suits.
But
And
did you
so
come to that realization that the two different religions, which in some ways could be perceived as very much at odds with each other, did you already in an early age somehow found your middle ground, or was there any kind
Oh
of
no, I
changes?
was I was swapping and changing. At first I decided to be Jewish to disappoint them equally. I was like, I'm not choosing either camp. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the one. And then I explored Buddhism for a while, and then just different areas of New Age spirituality, just because that's kind of the net that catches everyone. That's
Yes.
very confused, and was just exploring different things. And I had from a very, very early age some really strong spiritual experiences. I saw some kind of angelic energies on a few occasions really young. And it's really spooked my parents. I mean, my mother works in mental health, so she was a bit like, I don't think you should be sharing this information. And I got confused to the point that I wanted to kind of covertly really understand what was going on with my psychology and whatnot. So I got a degree in psychology. I went on to do neuroscience, then like a master's degree in neuroscience, and I thought it was really cool at the time. I thought it was really sci-fi.
You were even pursuing a PhD at some
A
point, or?
PhD, yeah. I got two scholarships actually to do a PhD. And I got there and I'm like, okay, I've answered the question of what was going on with my psychology, my orientation. I realized I was healthy.
Mhm.
And it was kind of like the penny dropped about 6 months into my PhD. I'd moved to Scotland for it. I just had this kind of like this crisis of like, I can't just carry on answer the questions answered now. I can't carry on my whole career, which of course was terribly inconvenient because I'd
Oh,
spent a lot
yes.
of time and energy, and my family were boasting that their daughter's gonna very, very clever girl, gonna be a neuroscientist and all this. But there was something like my soul was screaming like, no, we need to go elsewhere now. So I quit.
What did you do then? You quit the PhD
I
studies.
quit the PhD.
Was it like a big disappointment for your parents, or?
Huge. Yeah. You know, it was funny. Even 2 days ago, I was on the phone to my mother, and she was saying, "Oh, I found your old degree and your old papers of neuroscience. It's so sad. It's so sad." She's still. I'm still in the process of converting her, like, in terms of like seeing that I've made the right decision. I know I've made the right.
Oh, that's.
But I had a little bit of a meltdown at the time. I was like, I don't want to spend my entire life doing the neuro. It was cool and nerdy, and I've still got that nerdy itch, which is part of the reason I find Tantra actually pretty satisfying, because if you've got that nerdy inclination, there is plenty to sink your teeth into in the world of Tantra.
I think this is exactly where I think both of us have a similarity, because one of the things that was attracting me to the tantric teachings from the very first encounter was that, okay, it is a system. I can understand it. I can make almost like crafts and draw conclusions, and it was very clear, like science.
Yeah, and if you've got that scientific bent, then it's like it can actually like satisfy you, where a lot of the other systems I tried kind of like, we'll put that all to the side, let's have feel good vibes, a bit more wishy-washy. But when you get to more like the spiritual science, then there's a lot to take in, and I love the feeling of being like a brand new student when there's like so much to learn. It's really, really exciting for me. And that's part of what sparks my attention, and I feel a bit more satisfaction in the world of Tantra, for sure.
So you're coming from a background, being a London girl, probably engaging in the good and the bad of what London has to offer, or what do you mean?
Everything, yeah. So I mean, apart from being the geek and this is like the presentable side. The less presentable side is, I was also like going to open mic nights every weekend with my friends, and we would be drinking and partying and doing the kind of like the London sort of street culture a little bit, and so it's like I saw how far that could go, and I saw how far that could go, both sides of the spectrum, really. And I just got to the point where I'm like, okay, there's only so much of the partying, and I've got a lot of energy. I've always had a lot of energy, and so the party scene was a good way to kind of like get some of the energy to spent, right?
So, we say even in Tantra that people, or even especially women who inherently have a strong sexual energy, they don't really know and realize it. And very often that kind of energy, this kind of force, makes a person or makes a woman do crazy things. Not just women, men as well, but in particular women. Soma has even said that sometimes for a woman who is smoking, that woman is doing it because she has actually so much energy. She doesn't know how to utilize it, how to circulate in the energy, in the body, I mean, and how to really put it into good use. So the subconscious mind comes up with a solution of how to smother it by smoking, or by kind of bringing impurities into the body, so that it's kind of like, let's lock it down because we don't have a better use for it.
So relevant as well. Like, I used to smoke. I was smoking right up until about 2 years ago, like not just cigarettes, and it's just it was too much of it. It was too much of a habit, and it was, as you start to get older, like I'm in my mid-30s now, and it's kind of like, it didn't feel cute anymore. Like the hangovers would last 2 days now instead of just an hour or two in the morning, and I was like, okay, like I want to kind of make a change, but I'm not sure how. And it was quite good in the fact that there was a certain strictness with the courses, with the tantric courses. Like, look, people are going to be exchanging energies with you. It's not really fair to them if you've got all these smoke and impurities in your system, and you're going to be like passing it on to them. And so that's quite a strict policy of actually no smoking. And so like a few days before like my first mini tantric course, I like, okay, I'm going to give it 4 days. I'm probably going to go back 4 days before, And that was about 2 years ago, and I haven't gone back this whole time. And like that's one thing that my mother my mother is amazed by. It's the only thing that's
So
ever
joining the tantric path made you give up smoking and opt for absolutely much more healthy lifestyle. So tell me a little bit more than
yes.
you've been a student in our school for 1.5 years approximately, and you are also already a teacher in training, so a teacher to be as well. So a lot has happened
Yes.
during this time. So could
Such a
you
fun.
tell me or share with me some of the, like, let's say, peak moments or some profound understandings that you have experienced through the last 1.5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so one of the most memorable ones on this path, you know, before I joined the teaching team, just when I was just like, I'm just doing this as a student for myself, for my profession, for my own development. I came to Nicaragua. I treated myself for my birthday to do the TMT,
Yeah,
the
so
tantra,
the
tantra
TMT is
massage
the
therapy.
Tantra Massage Therapist training, and Leila joined it with us. Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
And I was just going, so between the PhD crisis and coming into Tantra, I'd explored many fields of spirituality, energy. I became a Reiki master. I was teaching it, exploring energy and things like that. And I found out that the Dr. Usui, who kind of birthed the modern Reiki system, he was actually a student of Tantra. If you do the academic research, he studied Tantra.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm just like, well, I'm going to go to the source. And in researching that, I found you guys. And so I got so excited to come to Nicaragua to do this therapist training. And I was a little bit in my ego. I was like, I'm being a Jedi. This is going to be amazing. Right. And I was so shocked at my own healing. Like I on this, normally you're aware of things that you need to heal, but and I think I had some help from the teachers, from Tiffany and things like that as well. In on this particular day, it was we were in a very special point in the stomach of the area that I had something there, and I didn't realize I had something there. But like I had almost got like 3 energy blasts, you know, one from like from Tiffany, from Ziggy, and then from my partner that I was working with in the same area. Is like it got called to attention, and suddenly, poof, up came. I was back in the birthing room giving birth to my daughter, and there was so much stress around this birthing process because we knew my little girl needed surgery straight away. I didn't get to hold her straight away. She got rushed off.
So you had a rather traumatic birthing
Yeah,
event and situation.
yeah.
So
And in
basically,
my
you were there receiving a session, like receiving massage, tantra massage with energy. Some help was also added by the teachers, and then something deep took place.
yeah,
In
you
your
know,
mind, you went back to that moment.
I totally traveled back. And in my psychology, that was not on my list of problems because my little girl is a champion now. She's fine. I'm
Yes.
like, okay, she's fine. So I'm fine. But these things get trapped in the body, you know, there's, you know, like the body keeps score, that
Exactly.
sentence.
The body keeps score. This is a absolutely like ideal, like a textbook example of how the different experiences we have in life, traumatic experiences, challenging experiences, how they get stored in the tissues. And when I say the tissues, it's not really the tissues. It's not like, oh, we do autopsy and, oh, here is your trauma from your birth, right? Nothing like that. It's a physical, but the tissues are connected to the energy. And then by working on the tissues, you access the energy, right? So
Yeah.
energetically, the intensity, the negative experiences that you had around it were still there, although psychologically, mentally, you already kind of processed it and things felt resolved, right?
Absolutely. And it was just at the same time, a big wave of energy, almost dizzying. And I crying and I was shaking and I needed help. I needed to sit up and go to a window. But after that processing it sounds a little bit unpleasant, whatever, but it was coming out, right? And after I felt like a tube of space in my being, like a hollow, and I'm like, is this how I'm supposed to feel? Like, I didn't know that thing was just clogged. It just becomes normal, and I was like,
Yeah.
I
Like
could breathe.
the feelings of having stress, having intensity, having blockages and so on, if you have them long, like they pile up gradually. It's not like from 0 to 100 in one day and then you notice the difference and then you, oh, I don't like this, I want to go back to zero. How to do it? Builds up gradually, and then you find yourself in a place where you don't even read. It's a kind of like the fish in water situation, right? The fish doesn't know that it is living in water. It's like the natural environment. It doesn't recognize, oh, it is water and it is where I live, whereas others live on land. No, like that's all that exists. The same things. Even having been, involved in tantra and in teaching and everything for many years, still sometimes I'm like, wow, like how much healing and release can tantric practices bring, and how much I didn't, again, like I forgot again and again that I need this kind of self-care also.
It's so important for a practitioner to actually receive as well, which is amazing. We know when you make connections with other therapists and things, that let's exchange, because we can get in the mode as therapists of like being the giver, but it's also really, really important to kind of fill up our own cup with it as well, and just remind ourselves that we are women, we need this kind of nourishment too.
Yes, exactly. So tell me, I mean, you had this profound opening in the Tantra massage therapist training. You became a therapist, you are working as a Tantra massage therapist, and not only that, you are also working with remote healing. So you did also a course with us about becoming a healer or therapist of remote Tantra energy healing. But before you go into it, there is a lot of people out there still are not believing that energy is real. One of the most frequent comments that we have under the video we have on YouTube, the viral video where Soma is presenting the energy orgasm, it has like 19 million views at this point, but the most frequent comment is fake, this is fake, this is not true, this is fake. So all those people out there, what do you, Leila, tell them about this from your experience?
You have to actually experience the energy. Bear in mind that we've been like psychologically conditioned from childbirth to be like locked into materiality. And I could go into a whole conspiracy theory tangent, or conspiracy truth, more like if we're not in command of our energy, then our energy is more like fair game for other interests to benefit from our energy. But the energy is the essence of what animates us or makes us more than just like a meat puppet. It's you need to explore it, you need to give it justice. It's the vital part of our being, and just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not true. We can't see the Wi-Fi internet that's allowing our call to happen now. You can't see the air we're breathing, you can't see so many,
but yet you believe it exists, right?
It's still
so your message is you don't need to believe it, you just need to be open to try it, and then you can make up your mind after that.
When you get a chance to experience for yourself, then make a judgment.
Exactly. That's what I would say as well. And this is a beautiful thing about spiritual traditions, like esoteric traditions like Tantra. You can come into it without zero belief into anything. Belief is not a requirement. Curiosity is a requirement, right? To be curious and to find out if one or the other thing is really, really true. So you had, besides the personal transformation, kind of also a professional transformation over the last while. So you being certified Tantra massage therapist and tantric remote energy healing therapist as well. Tell me a little bit, how has that transformed your life professionally and even financially?
Well, as a single mom, my little girl's father is involved, but for the most part, I live in my own apartment with her. I'm taking care of her 24/7. I'm going mostly the homeschooling option route. And so it's very, very full time. And so as a mother, I didn't want to drop off my kid for most of the hours of the day to people that didn't love her like I loved her, and then trade that for a profession that I didn't do anything for me spiritually. That wasn't, I'd worked up until the week before I gave birth to her. I just wasn't willing to go down that route again. And so this gave me actually a route to financial independence. I mean, so the remote is wonderful. You can connect to anyone in any place of the world. I have a lot of people I work with in the United States, in Latin America, because it's perfect timing. I put my little one to bed, read her bedtime stories, she's sleeping, and then I have my hours to myself. I can do my work. I can do the remote, open up my laptop and connect astrally to anyone that's willing to work with me. And I've seen incredible results with that. I can't take credit for the results, because you're really just like giving your attention, and then it's the natural energies, it's the different aspects of...
You are kind of, let's say, creating an environment for the natural healing and movement of energy to take place. And like I always say, energy has its own intelligence. You don't need to come with your own, actually you should not even come with your own, ego-driven goals of how I want this or that healing session to go for the receiver, and what results and what ooh and ah determines how good I am. It's a kind of a process of surrender, actually, like almost a prayer. That's how I look at it. And then things happen, and you guide a person verbally through a specific process and so on, and they have effectual healing. So what have you observed in your clients in those remote healing sessions?
The prayer is a good kind of description of the energy. It's a real reverence in the process, and when it goes well, it really feels like witnessing miracles. I was working with one person who had back problems for 2 years, was seeing chiropractors, everything like that. After the first session, and definitely 100% after the second session, that was gone, and it's never come back. It's like they can bend down, they can do yoga, and they're not spending money on seeing a chiropractor anymore. And there's been, that's just one of many examples, and I'm always so humbled and just amazed at the co-creation of because it also depends on how much spiritual work the other person has been doing, which dictates how much the energy can go through them. Like the video with Soma, for example. That girl's been clearly doing a lot of purification, a lot of her energy channels are clear, a lot of spiritual work for the energy to be able to move clearly like that. I can tell, like, night and day. I can be doing backflips my end, but if the person isn't really having a spiritual practice, they're like, I feel something, but I'm not sure. Whereas someone who's actively got a spiritual practice and opening their channels and doing purification.
And a level of purity, that is a very, very important aspect as well, which is exactly why in the courses that we do as well, one of the requirements is, like you pointed up earlier, that if you're coming as a participant, you are not supposed to smoke or do drugs, of course not, no alcohol, nothing of those things for the full duration of the course. And some years ago, there was one particular case that I remember. There was a participant who came to the Tantra massage therapist training, I believe. So he was a gentleman, and he was a very, very heavy smoker. He knew that the requirement of the course was not to smoke during the course. So he was willing to give it a try. One day goes by. Second day goes by, he comes to me and says, Lisa, I'm struggling, I can't keep it up like this. Can I just, do one cigarette? I said, no. Like, there's no way, there's no compromises with this. Okay, he continued, third day, fourth day, he comes to me like, Lisa, really, things are really bad, can I do it? The bottom line was he hung in there, he didn't smoke, and he became a non-smoker as a result of the course. He had been smoking for 20 years or something, like a full pack of cigarettes a day. So a heavy duty smoker. And this guy went on a path of purification afterwards, and a lot of things changed for him in that regard. So Yeah, I'm not saying the courses are made for making
Come,
don't
come
smoke,
come
but
to
there
touch
are a lot
massage
of
to
positive
finally kick your
side
smoking
effects.
habit.
Yeah,
But it is something that's come up commonly as well. And I think it's also having something amazing to replace it with, especially with I'm
exactly.
continuing with the yoga levels as well. And when you feel this kind of the energy flushing through you, it's like it satisfies something deeper than the itch that is kind of scratched
Mhm.
by a cigarette, which never really properly scratches the itch anyway. But when you're on the yogic path,
This is a
things just
beautiful concept that you're saying, that it's in terms of healing overall, like people who have quit smoking or quit any kind of negative habits as a result of attending a spiritual course. It is not that they, kind of violently need to control themselves not to smoke, not to do this, not to do that anymore, but their resonance changes. It's replacing the negative habit with something which is so much more satisfying and gives you like a glimpse. Oh, that's what I could have and experience if I would give up this negative habit. Then sure, no problem, I'll give it up. So exactly, it's not a restriction phenomena, it's a replacement phenomena,
sure, you
right?
become more full,
Yeah.
not restricted, or
Yeah,
not
not
less than, so
deprived of some enjoyment that you may have been getting from a negative habit, but instead fulfilled by something more positive. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You got the discipline to stay on the path, and it's not too much of a struggle. You're actually involved in the
Wonderful.
practice.
So you grew, raising your little child,
Yes, and
and
she's
the tantric
copying
class.
me with the yoga as well. She sees me doing my practice, and she's climbing on my back, and she's got a very good Padahastasana.
All right. That's amazing. Parents are often asking, once they've had an experience with tantra, with the yoga, and they say, how to bring our children into this as well. And the answer always is the same: is by personal example.
Yeah,
Right? The
yeah.
children are always copying pretty much everything that the parents are doing, their psychology, their emotional expressions, and so on, their life habits. And if you cultivate excellent life habits, your children will also. So you're doing a great job in that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Even down to emotionally, like one of the biggest things that I've got in this path is like a consistent emotional stability. There's still like the odd reactions to things, but it won't spiral into any directions. Like I've always been quite an intense person, and before that used to mean like whatever my emotional reactions would rocket me into ping pong in all sorts of different directions.
Mhm.
And even when I was doing the Reiki energy healing, which was good and wellness and nourishing, um, I would be like on a good mode for a few weeks and be like, yes, it's good vibes. It's just, come on, let's all celebrate. And then I'd crash at the end of it. I'm like, I'm not doing any healing. I'm not in the right place to do
Mhm.
any
I see.
for however long until I get back. And having this tantric spiritual practice consistently means like, okay, if I've got this energy of frustration in me, or if I've got an energy of anything, I'm like, okay, I'll go to the mat, I'll do my practice, I've got something to go to, so it doesn't get out of hand. And my daughter's emotions as well has kind of mirrored that. She was very, very reactive before. And now even if she is having a terrible twos, my little girl's 3 years old now, even if she is having a ping pong reaction, I'm staying stable and being patient with her, and then she can calm down. Whether before I'd get mad, she's
She
losing her
gets
rag,
crazy.
I'm losing, we're all
You
stressed
have a
out, and
tsunami in your hands. Yeah.
yeah, no one's winning. But now I can be the anchor as a more mature parent for her to be like, okay, this is the example of how to manage your emotions. And I'm so grateful I have that opportunity to be that example for her. Like any parent is really, really invested in being the best, but it's like, actually, if you nourish yourself first, then it's gonna flow out. So I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
the same example that I was just mentioning, that children learn from the parents. So whatever the parents are doing. So just to kind of bring things into a conclusion here. So what you've experienced during the last 1.5 years of studying Tantra, not just studying, practicing and integrating these things into life is, first of all, not in the order of importance, but you've had a physical transformation. You are having a much healthier lifestyle. Now you quit smoking and drinking and other kind of unconducive habits. Emotionally, you just explained you are much more stable and control, and you know that all of us are human. We have emotions come up all the time, but when they do, when some intense ones come up from the negative spectrum, usually if they come up, then you have tools how to support yourself, how to transmute that experience into something more harmonious. And your child, your lovely daughter Lily, is kind of like copying that, essentially. So that's incredible. Plus you're building a career in healing with energy, becoming a tantric therapist and a teacher, which brings you the financial independence.
The financial independence in a flexible way, in a way that I could, I don't have to sacrifice my life for a 9-to-5 type of thing. It's something that I know how much this path has done for me. I know the transformation it's made for me. And so to pursue a career to kind of spread that light and to be like, I'm when you've got a present that someone's gonna love, and you're excited to give it to them. This is how I feel going into being a teacher in this field. And I think as well, like the teaching, the practice, the career, I just have more passion for life overall. I get up and I'm excited to go further in this direction, and I have a more consistent relationship with the divine consciousness, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm enjoying my experience of life more than ever before, and I know it's going to get better. I just know it's going to get even better and brighter. So
Wonderful.
I love Tantra, I love this path, I love the school, and I'm excited for the fall.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Leila, for sharing this personal experiencing with me and with the audience here on YouTube as well. And if anybody would like to get in touch with Leila and perhaps receive a session of remote tantric energy healing or a tantra massage experience, which is a physical hands-on practice, we will leave a comment or description in the notes here how to get in touch with Leila and how you could try out this energy work yourself. And remember, I was just saying that you don't need to believe, you just need to be curious and then decide for yourself. Thank you so much, Leila, and we'll be in touch. We'll meet in a few weeks in teaching capacity again with you.
Yes, spreading the light of Tantra a little bit more, a little bit.
Take care.
All right, take care, everyone. Much love. Bye.
Oh, and I wanted to add, all of you watching, we are posting regularly all sorts of content about tantric spirituality, tantric sexuality, tantra massage. We have conversations like these. Somananda is giving lectures and so on. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you are notified when new things come out and you stay in the loop. Check out our website for any upcoming courses. There is a lot planned, a lot scheduled. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Bye-bye.